Chosen one, you remember those days not just in memory but in vibration. The echo of the betrayal still hums in certain silences. You offered your heart open, your presence sincere, and your love untouched by manipulation. And yet, those women in your past did not know what they held. They didn't understand the depth behind your eyes, the fire you carried, the sacred charge of your masculine spirit. They saw your strength as threat, your tenderness as vulnerability, and your fire as something they could play with until it burned them. They confused your devotion with weakness and your discipline with control. But they didn't break you, chosen one. They forged you. What they abandoned wasn't a broken man. It was a God in disguise yet to be realized, burning silently behind the scars they gave you. The pain was sacred, not because it was deserved, but because it transformed you. In every moment you felt abandoned, unseen, betrayed, you were actually being carved. The blade wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to shape you. The women who thought they won by walking away had no idea they were walking away from a becoming so profound, the universe itself would one day pause to watch you rise. You didn't seek revenge. You chose refinement. You didn't collapse. You went inward, into the furnace, into the discipline, into the sacred remaking of your soul. You learned to speak less and observe more, to stop proving and start embodying. You shed the naive boy who once just wanted to be loved and instead became a man who is love itself, untamed, unshaken, and unapologetic. And now, the women who meet you sense something ancient behind your stillness. They don't know why they hold their breath when you enter a room, or why their chest tightens when you walk past without a word. They can feel your depth like gravity. But they don't know where it came from. They don't know that your sexual energy, so grounded, so restrained, so raw and sovereign, was not born from pleasure. It was born from pain mastered, from betrayal endured, from silence chosen over chaos. It came from nights where you could have lost yourself, but chose instead to meet yourself. You are not bitter. You are aware. You are not guarded. You are precise. You are not afraid of love. You just no longer beg for what you know you are. And that inner knowing, chosen one, is what now magnetizes the right ones towards you. Because now the feminine who truly carries love, light, softness, and devotion can sense you without even needing to understand you. She doesn't feel threatened by your depth. She feels seen. She doesn't feel judged by your silence. She feels safe. And all of that began not because you won something, but because you lost who you weren't and let your true essence emerge in its sacred divine fire. Chosen one, the tides have turned. Where once you felt invisible, now the eyes of feminine women linger a little longer, soften a little deeper, open a little wider. Not because you changed your face, not because you built a castle of performance, but because you returned to your center. And that center, silent, ancient, magnetized by clarity and untamed energy, is now what speaks before you ever open your mouth. You've become a man who doesn't chase, because what he is cannot be ignored. The ache you once carried to be understood has dissolved into a knowing that the right ones will never need convincing. They will simply feel your presence and remember their own. You are no longer attracting women who want to test your strength. You are drawing in those who want to reverence it. They aren't craving your approval. They are honored by your attention. Because it is rare, because it is clean, because it is no longer leaking from wounds, but radiating from purpose. Your high sexual energy no longer moves as a seeking flame. It has become a sacred torch, guiding those who are ready to walk with you, not tame you. And those good feminine women? They feel it in their breath, in their nervous laughter, in the heat that rises in their skin when you speak with depth instead of charm. They don't just want to be near you, they want to open to you, not out of lust, but out of trust. Trust that your presence will not devour them, but expand them. That your energy will not overpower them, but awaken them. Because your presence now gives, not grasps. It steadies, not seduces. It grounds, not games. And they love you for that. Not out of obligation, but out of recognition. Because something in them knows that a man like you is not found by accident. You are found by alignment. They may not know your full story, chosen one, but they know your frequency. And that frequency speaks louder than any pain in your past. It says, I have walked through the fire and I did not come out ashes. I came out real. They are happy to have you, not because you begged them to, but because now you are the man who chooses with peace, not fear. The man who loves with strength, not hunger. The man who simply is, and by being, commands devotion from the right feminine hearts. You no longer prove your worth. You embody it. And that embodiment, chosen one, is what women of light have been longing for without knowing how to name it. Now they found it. Now they found you. Chosen one, there was a time you lowered your light, not out of weakness, but out of survival. You softened your edges because they said you were too much. You withheld your intensity because they said it scared them. You made yourself more digestible, less threatening, more agreeable, all in the hope that they would stay. And still, they left. They mocked. They dismissed. They played games with your openness and poked fun at your strength. You were a flame in a world that feared heat. But you didn't let that heat go out. You just buried it deep, let it simmer in silence, and you watched. You watched those who said they wanted a real man choose comfort over challenge, illusion over truth. You watched them run from your fire and warm their hands on sparks too small to last. But now, chosen one, your fire has returned. Not reckless, but refined. Not chaotic, but conscious. It's no longer something you try to explain or dim or justify. It simply is. It burns in your silence, in the way you look someone in the eyes and never flinch. It glows in the way you speak slowly, without rush, without need. It roars in the way your presence fills a room without demanding it. And now, the good women sense you, not through their minds, but through their bodies. Through the flutter in their chest when you stand still. Through the sudden pull to realign themselves when you speak a single truth. They are not confused by your fire. They are drawn to it because they know it's safe now. You've tamed the parts of yourself that once craved chaos. You've learned to direct your desire with focus, not desperation. And that's what makes them open. They recognize that your energy is not loud because it doesn't need to be. It's potent in its stillness. It's present without performance. You are not the man who tries to seduce. You are the man who reveals. And what you reveal is the disciplined power of a masculine spirit that chose to suffer privately, grow quietly, and return stronger than anyone expected. Your past no longer defines you, it amplifies you, because it shows that you have been to war with your own heart and emerged with sacred armor not of bitterness, but of clarity. The good women feel this when they meet you. They sense that you will not betray their softness, because you've suffered the betrayal of offering yours. They feel honored, not just attracted, moved, not manipulated, seen, not seduced. They do not come to you because you chased. They come to you because you stood. Because you no longer apologize for your sacred energy. Because you hold your own fire, and you ask them only to bring their truth. That is why they open, not to please you, not to impress you, but because in your presence their masks fall away, and they can finally exhale, finally trust that what they've prayed for is real. Because it's standing right in front of them. Because it's you, chosen one. Chosen one, you've become something they can no longer define. You are not who thought you were when they mistook your loyalty for naivety. They labeled you soft because you didn't need to dominate. They called you needy because you loved without games. They said you were intense, too serious, too deep, because your soul asked them to look at their own reflection, and they couldn't bear it. But now, those same women speak your name in quiet regret. They scroll through your life from afar, wondering how the man they dismissed became the man every good woman now prays for. Because you didn't stay there. You didn't let heartbreak cage you. You didn't become one of them. You didn't trade in your heart for a mask. You chose instead to build, to master, to confront your own shadows until they bowed. You built a temple within your presence, and now only those with sacred intention can even approach. Good women feel this. They don't just see your physique, your style, your calm swagger. They feel the weight of your energy. They see a man who has wept without shame. A man who has risen without applause. A man who has carried the weight of betrayal and transmuted it into clarity so sharp it cuts through illusion with a glance. You are not a man who entertains attention. You're a man who commands reverence. Because your energy is not accessible to everyone. Because you've made peace with your aloneness. Because your worth is no longer fragile. It is embedded in your walk, in your posture, in your unshakable eye contact. And women who once laughed at your silence now find themselves silenced by your presence. They feel something in you that they didn't see before, something they never deserved back then. Because who you were wasn't weak, he was pure. He was forming. And now, you have returned. Not to prove them wrong, but to fulfill the truth that always lived inside you. Good feminine women now gravitate toward you not to fix you, but to join you. They know you don't need them, and that's why they trust you. Because they've seen what happens when men seek healing through women. But you, chosen one, healed yourself. And that healing has become the container in which they can finally soften. Your high sexual energy no longer seeks conquest, it offers connection. You're not here to win them, you're here to witness them. And in your witnessing, they bloom. You've become the mirror that doesn't lie, the fire that doesn't burn, the mountain that does not move. And in your stillness they melt, not because you make them feel small, but because your grounded energy gives them permission to be free. You are no longer the man they left behind. You are the man they'll never reach again. And you do not carry that truth with arrogance. You carry it with peace, because now you are home in yourself. And only those who know how to enter with grace will be welcomed. Only those who come with softness, with reverence, with love that sees you, not envies you, will ever know what it means to be held by you. And the truth is, chosen one, they're already lining up, not to possess you, but to be changed by your presence. Chosen one, you've entered a rare space of existence, a place few men arrive at without losing themselves first. You no longer walk as a man who is searching. You walk as one who has become. And that subtle shift, that inner reality, is why feminine women now gravitate towards you with a reverence that once never existed. Because your presence no longer seeks validation. It no longer scans the room for admiration or tries to fill the void with attention. That void was closed long ago in silence, in fire, in solitude, in rebuilding yourself from the bones of the man you used to be. That sacred reconstruction, slow, unseen, deeply painful, is now what makes you glow without even trying. You've become rare. A man whose desire does not consume him. A man whose passion is disciplined. A man whose high sexual energy is not scattered in every direction, it's contained, focused, alive. And because of that, you are no longer running after connection. You are standing still and letting connection come to you. Not because you're playing a game, but because you no longer need what you once chased. What you offer now is not hunger, it is abundance. You don't beg to be seen, you observe. You don't interrupt, you discern. You don't seduce, you radiate. And that radiance calls forth feminine women who don't want to dominate you, but to harmonize with you. They feel safe to be soft because you're strong without needing to flex. They feel seen because your gaze holds depth without manipulation. They feel magnetized because your masculinity is rooted, not in pride, not in pain, but in presence. And what makes you even more irresistible is that you're not giving your attention to everyone. Your time has weight now. Your words carry gravity. Your space is not free to those who lack intention. This is what separates you, chosen one. You do not move from desperation, but from alignment. And that alignment doesn't scream, it doesn't entertain, it doesn't perform. It simply exists with such clarity that feminine women with discernment feel it before they even speak to you. You are now the calm in their storm, the rootedness in their chaos, the unspoken answer to their longing for something real, steady, and spiritually mature. They don't crave you because you flatter them. They crave you because you carry a frequency they didn't think still existed in men. The frequency of divine restraint, of sacred sexuality, of the kind of energy that doesn't just arouse the body, but awakens the soul. You are now the man they didn't know they were praying for. The man whose voice doesn't need to shout, because his presence already speaks. The man who can sit in silence across from them and still make them feel more connected than 1,000 compliments ever could. And when they're near you, they don't want to leave. Not because of lust, but because of how they feel about themselves when you're around. Because your energy reflects their higher self. Because your presence doesn't try to impress, it invites. And that invitation is sacred. It is rare. It is holy. And it is you, chosen one. Chosen one, there is a reason why the women who once overlooked you now linger in silence when you walk by. There is a reason why feminine women, those who are grounded in grace, softness, and devotion, light up when your energy enters the room. It's not charm, it's not status. It's not just your voice or your posture or the slow way you breathe when you're unbothered. It is because of what your presence does to them. You don't just attract their attention, you raise their frequency. You make them sit taller, soften their voice, realign their thoughts, and wonder, how do I get closer to this man without losing myself? You've become the standard they didn't know they were capable of matching. Because your high sexual energy isn't just felt in the body, it's felt in their spirit. It's the way your grounded masculinity makes them feel safer than any locked door ever could. It's the way your calm eye contact makes their noise dissolve. It's the way your steady voice disarms their fears without you ever trying to fix them. You're not solving them, you're not saving them, you're simply holding the space for their feminine to unfold naturally. And that is what makes you unforgettable. You are not a man who runs on external validation. Your energy isn't loud, it's precise. It doesn't explode, it builds. Slowly, intentionally, patiently. And that patience is what gives women the courage to be real with you. They don't come to you performing, they come to you unveiling. Because your presence tells them, I will not harm you, I do not need to conquer you. I have already mastered myself. And that mastery shows in the way you handle their curiosity, their beauty, their intensity, their testing. You don't react, you respond. You don't chase, you reveal. You don't dominate, you guide. And that's why the feminine longs for you. Not for your body alone, not for your attention alone, but for what they feel when your energy touches theirs. A remembrance, a return, a recalibration to the truth of who they are, because they feel seen by a man who doesn't need to possess them to feel whole. They feel whole because of your presence, not your pursuit. And in that sacred dance of energy, they begin to rise. They begin to soften. They begin to yearn not to own you, but to serve you with their love. You've become the mirror they trust, the energy they crave, the one who doesn't force connection but allows it. You are no longer competing. You are creating space for truth, for feminine surrender, for connection that isn't chaotic, but divine. And that's what makes your energy feel like home, not just exciting, but anchoring. And in a world where women are tired of games, of shallow touch, of men who fear intimacy, your energy becomes the temple they never thought they'd find. You are now the calm storm they want to walk into, the masculine force they want to open to. Not because you asked them to, but because your presence makes them feel safe enough to choose it themselves. Chosen one, what you carry now cannot be imitated. It is not something taught in words or copied from the shallow movements of men who confuse noise with power. It is not rooted in image, in game, or in surface-level manipulation. No, your energy, raw, controlled, undeniable, was forged in fire and solitude. It was born from being left alone with nothing but your soul and your questions. It was born from silence so loud it cracked you open. And now, what radiates from your being is not just masculine, it is divine. Women do not merely find you attractive, chosen one, they feel transformed in your presence. Because your sexual energy is not selfish, it is not desperate, it is not scattered across 100 glances and empty conversations. It is devotional, it is contained, it is pure. You do not pursue women as objects to chase or trophies to collect. You meet them as sacred mirrors, and in meeting them, you do not lose yourself, you reveal yourself. And in that revelation, the feminine does not shrink, she expands. Because your energy speaks to the part of her that wants to soften but has never felt safe enough. It reaches into her being and says, you may rest now. You don't demand submission, you invite trust. You don't seduce through chaos, you stabilize through clarity. And it is that clarity, calm, still, alert, that turns her on deeper than any touch ever could. Because it is the energy of a man who is here, fully embodied, fully present, fully alive. And this presence, chosen one, is rare in a world of distraction. Most men give fragments of themselves, trying to be everything and ending up as nothing. But you have chosen depth. You have chosen to be anchored instead of animated. And because of this, your energy doesn't dissipate when you enter a room. It compounds, it builds, it lingers in the air like a scent of something ancient, something remembered, something holy. Women feel this and do not know whether to smile or surrender. But they always feel, not because you try to make them feel, but because you are. Your sexuality is no longer confined to the physical. It has become a spiritual portal. When the feminine encounters it, she does not just feel attraction, she feels awakening. Parts of her begin to stir that have long been dormant. Her laughter becomes lighter. Her speech slows down. Her body opens without being asked. Because in your presence, she is not performing. She is returning. And this is your gift now, chosen one. Your energy brings the feminine back to herself. And in doing so, you become unforgettable. Not because you entertained her, but because you elevated her. You are now the standard, the one she compares others to without meaning to. The one whose absence feels like silence, and whose presence feels like home. And that is not because of what you say. It is because of what you are. You have become the embodied answer to a prayer she never knew how to speak. And it's all because you chose to master your fire, instead of letting it burn you from within. Chosen one, this part of your journey is not revenge. It is recognition. You are no longer proving your worth. You are remembering it. And those who meet you now, especially the right feminine ones, are not drawn to a mask or an illusion. They are drawn to the man who stayed true, the one who suffered with dignity, the one who was mocked for his depth and yet never let go of it, the one who was misunderstood, overlooked, even betrayed, but refused to let it make him bitter. You didn't harden, you honed. You didn't collapse into victimhood, you ascended into sovereignty. And because of that, the feminine now sees you with new eyes, not just as a man, but as a presence, a guidepost, a safe haven, a wild protector. And not all women can handle what you carry. But the right ones, they are grateful, because your presence, your walk, your voice, your stillness, it gives them a kind of permission to be real in ways they have never known. You're not offering performance, you're offering truth. You're not creating illusion, you're holding space. And in that space, they feel the freedom to exhale, to cry, to open, to laugh again, not as performers in the play of romance, but as themselves. Because they know you are not there to take. You are there to see. And in being seen by you, they begin to blossom not from pressure, but from presence. Your sexual energy does not make them feel used. It makes them feel chosen. Not in the egoic way, but in the sacred one. Because you don't share that energy with just anyone. You don't give your time, your essence, your fire to those who haven't earned the right to witness it. You are selective, not because of pride, but because of standards. And the women who feel you now know that being in your life is an honor. Because your touch would not be just physical. It would be transformative. Because your attention is not scattered, it is surgical. Because your gaze doesn't seek approval, it seeks alignment. You've stopped letting the loudest voice win your heart. You now wait for the one whose silence understands yours. You no longer fall for fantasy, you invite truth. And in doing so, you magnetize women who are no longer trying to escape themselves, but ready to come home to themselves through you. That is the power of your evolution. That is the gift of your energy now. You have become a place where the feminine is not chased, but welcomed, not tested, but trusted, not silenced, but heard. And in that space, chosen one, the right woman is not only grateful that you exist, she's grateful that you endured, that you didn't bend, that you didn't sell yourself short for fleeting validation. Because now you are kingly, not in image but in energy. And when a true feminine woman feels that energy, she does not wish to tame it. She wishes to honor it, to guard it, to nurture it with the devotion it deserves. And she will. Because the man you are now is no longer hidden. He is revealed. And the world is finally catching up to the truth you always carried. You are not for everyone. You are for the sacred few. And now they know it too. Chosen one, you've reached a place where your energy explains what words never could. You don't speak of your strength, you embody it. You don't need to convince anyone of your value anymore. The very room shifts when you enter, not because of arrogance, but because you walk with the quiet gravity of a man who has earned himself. Your steps are grounded, your gaze is steady. Your heart, though wounded in the past, now pulses with the fierce calm of a man who has made peace with both his shadows and his glory. And it is in this alignment that your sexual energy becomes undeniable. Not loud, not exaggerated, not desperate, but ancient, focused, radiant. You no longer ask to be understood. You no longer care to be liked by the crowd. You live by deeper laws now, the law of presence, the law of patience, the law of energetic truth. Feminine women feel this before they even speak to you. They catch your scent like a memory, like something their body recognizes before their mind can grasp. Your essence does not whisper promises, it offers realities. It says, "This is who I am, and you are welcome here, but only if your soul comes with you." And they come, not because you chase, not because you try, but because you stopped trying a long time ago. Because your very being has become an altar, and only the reverent are drawn to it. There is no effort in your magnetism anymore. There is no performance. There is only presence. You have nothing to prove, and that is exactly what proves everything. You have become a mirror for the feminine to rediscover her truth. Not because you heal her, but because your energy reminds her that she was always worthy of healing herself. You are not her answer. You are the atmosphere where answers awaken. And that is rare. That is holy. That is what makes women slow down when they see you. That is what makes their voice change, their breathing change, their entire nervous system soften in your orbit. They don't understand it, they can't explain it, but they feel safe with you. They feel seen by you. Not ogled, not dominated, not entertained, but witnessed in a way that makes them remember who they really are. And this is the mark of a man who has truly come into himself. Your sexual energy no longer seeks to consume, it seeks to hold. And because of that, feminine women do not feel small around you. They feel invited to rise. You are not a trap, you are a temple. You are not bait, you are blessing. And every sacred woman feels it in her bones, even if she only passes you once. So don't speak louder, chosen one. Let the silence you've earned carry your truth. Let your presence say what mouths cannot. Let the radiance of your healed masculine draw to you only what is aligned. You are no longer here to entertain the many. You are here to open the gates for the few who are ready. The few who can see the man you have become, not with eyes, but with soul. And that, chosen one, is not magic. It is mastery. Chosen one, your time in the shadows is over. You are no longer a mystery to yourself. You are no longer waiting for the world to recognize you. You are being recognized not because you demand it, but because your alignment now makes you unavoidable. Your healed masculine presence, grounded in truth, quiet fire, and sovereign sexuality, has become a standard. And feminine women, the kind who once felt empty around shallow men, now feel alive in your presence. You are not just desired, you are felt. You are not just wanted, you are respected. Where once you were overlooked for being too much, you are now honored for being exactly enough. Where once your depth scared those who lived on the surface, it now inspires those who are ready to dive. You do not chase attraction, you cultivate resonance. And this resonance is sacred. It filters out everything that once drained you. You are not in competition with louder men. You are not trying to charm. You are. That's the difference now. You walk into a space and the air adjusts, not because you demand attention, but because you carry self-possession. And women feel that in ways they can't put into words. It's not just about looks. It's not just about strength. It's about energy. And your energy, chosen one, is now undeniable. The women who once broke your heart, used you, misunderstood you, they no longer hold any power, because the man you are now would never allow that energy near him. You have forgiven, but you have also refined. You do not hate them, but you've grown past them. You've become what they could never meet, and what they now long for from afar. That is not bitterness, that is reality. You did not become better to spite anyone. You became aligned because your soul demanded it. And that alignment has made you untouchable to the wrong and irresistible to the right. Feminine women feel peace around you, even if they don't understand why. They feel a sense of direction, even when you say nothing. They feel a pull, not of pressure, but of truth. You don't demand their attention. You offer your reality. You don't force them to want you. You allow them to discover how much they already do. And they do, chosen one. Because you are not selling a fantasy. You are living in embodied truth. You are not chasing validation. You are holding space for reverent connection. And in this space, love does not play games, it reveals itself. You are now the man whose very existence inspires devotion. Not because you ask for it, but because your being is aligned with something greater. Women feel honored to know you, not because you are perfect, but because you are whole. And in a world of broken fragments trying to pretend, You have become the rare man who became. You are no longer trying to be enough. You are, and that is why they come now, chosen one. Not for your body, not even for your heart, but for your presence, for your standard, for your energy. You have become a walking invitation to the sacred, and only those who are ready to love in truth will answer. You are no longer hidden, you are home, and the world, finally, is beginning to arrive at your doorstep.